Hey guys, so today it is all about Linux containers. So we start by installing LXD. LXD is an API over LXC. So we just go ahead and do sudo apt install LXD-y. So that's all you need. I have already LXD installed on my local. So what you for you can go ahead and install by doing this command. Now since we have our LXD installed, we can just check it doing LXC -f and help. If this is working, this is what this says, that you have LXD installed. LXD-f version will give you the exact version you are running on. So when you do apt install LXD, by default it will install the specific version of your OS specific version. So you do LXD init to configure LXC. So LXC is actually Linux containers and LXD is API over LXC. It's kind of an orchestrator to LXC. So let's go with the default over here. So as of now it says that would you like to create a subnet. So we have to create a bridge. Yes, we want to create a bridge, and this should be the bridge name. Now what we want is, like, it is going to create you a subnet. So go with the default. It will create you a default subnet where your actual containers will sit. This is the gateway IP of your subnet. This is the CIDR, and this is your first DHCP IP address. So the first container will get this IP address. So do you want to set up a IPv4 v6 subnet? In this case, we don't want. We just want IPv4 because we're not going to use it. And that's it. This is all you need, and you are done. So you just do install and you just configure, and you have your container, LXD container, aka system container, infrastructure container, is ready. Cool. So the first command I'm going to execute is, now let's go on what it takes to have our first container. So all we need to do is LXC launch. In this case I want to do Ubuntu, and I'm not sure which Ubuntu version to do. Just do Ubuntu ::. So this will launch you a container. So LXC launch. As you can see, we have a container. We didn't have an IP yet. We have a name given by the LXD itself. So this is what happens when you don't mention the name. We go inside it, and now let's check what is the distro. So cat etc issue will give you the distro. This is Ubuntu 18.04. When you just do Ubuntu colon, it will give you the latest stable distro. LSB release -a will also give you the more information on it. So in case I want to provision a specific version, I want to have a specific container, a specific Linux container, distro Linux containers, I can do LXC launch and then give the version. And now I want to give a name. So 1604 is a Xenial Xerus. So let me give a name to this container as Xerus. And yeah, so this is the way how we give the name. As you can see, we have a Xerus container spawned up, and we go inside this container. Again, we verify, and just to check it, there is another way to verify. If you don't want to go inside, just do LXC exec --- and run the command. So cat issue or else LSB-release, LSB_release -a. So this will give you the information about the distro. So in case I want to know what all images are there, what all official images are there already on LXD image server, so you can go ahead and just type LXD image server, and you'll get to this particular page where you can find all the images being hosted. So image server for LXD, this is what currently available images. So for example, I want to try Alpine. So what I do is I just do LXC launch, just do Alpine images :Alpine, give the release number and also the architecture. So I want to try out AMD64, and now in this case I'm going to give a name, and this is all you need to have your Alpine container up and running. So yeah, there is a naming convention that you cannot use dots. You can use underscores though, but let's go with Alpine in this case. So we have Alpine provisioned, as you can see, by doing LXO list. So it's again, what I'm doing is I'm just going and checking it what is the actual version which I have provisioned. So I can do lsb release -a and I can try for class etc/issue. This will give me the Linux distro. This will give me the distro version. Now let's say I have a use case and I want to try a RPM based machines. So CentOS is the one for RPM based machine which is free. And in another case, if I just don't want to go to GUI and I just want to check all the images, I just can do LXC image list and images : and we can pipe it to less to see a page wise. As you can see, we have aliases and other image informations over here. So for let's say I want to try CentOS 8. So I just copy the alias and that's it. So I just do LXC launch. So what launch is doing is it's actually pulling the image and starting container out of it. And this is how I get my CentOS up and running. So sorry, it's CentOS 8 and I by mistake I typed it to 9. Now what I do, how do I correct it? So it has a way. What I do, I just go and stop it first. So there is a command which what it does is LXC move old container name and new container name. So what it does is, for that we need to stop it. It will delete an old container and start a new container on top of your old container. So we just stop it and we move it. So fine, now we are done. We are on the correct name. So we go and start this container CentOS 8, which is actually pointing to CentOS 8. We do LXC start to start. Now let's check if we have the correct version. So at last etc/issue is not helping in this case. lsb-release_release-a. This is also not returning anything over here. Okay, let's go inside this container. And let's try to find out where do we have uname -a is giving something from your host system. So yeah, this is your OS containers are operating system level of virtualization. So you need to have a file system level of virtualization. In this case, it is not there. To have that, you need to have LXCFS. Yeah, so let's go and check in class/etc/CentOS release. Oh, so this is the place where you can find the release for CentOS. So this is, guys, this is the first how you install different versions of your container. Okay, let's say we want to launch a container but we don't want to start it. So you can do it by using LXC init. So you just do LXC init and then give a container name, image name which you're trying to spawn a container from. So in this case, I'm going to name it as a pause container. So because I'm going to talk on pause, what is LXC pause in comment section of this video. So when you do it and then when you do LXC list, you can see your container has been created but it is stopped. So now what we do is we just want to remove all the running containers because we just want to do a cleanup and then try the next stuff of LXC stuffs on this stopped container. So what we are going to do is we are going to extract the name alias from here and we are going to run LXC delete -f to remove the container. So this is how we actually extract an alias. So let's put it in a loop and this will give me a list of container names. Now I do LXC delete -f and $i. That will have name of a container and done. So this should actually delete all running containers and have one container left with me. So all I am doing is I'm just removing all the running containers so that I can do other stuff. Like LXC stuff with this container. So let's talk on the Linux container lifecycle. Container has few life cycles. So it is already in a stop state. So you do LXC start to start. You do LXC list and as you can see it is running. So what do you do to stop the container? As we already saw, you just do LXC stop and you have your container stopped. So stopping container means it is releasing your IP, it is releasing your MAC address and also your resources. So now how do you stop? You do stop by LXC stop. Yep, it's as simple as that. Now say I want to restart. So what I do to restart, I just do restart LXC restart and the container name. The LXC list -FN fast is to give a faster response. It doesn't include all the other information like IP and MAC address, and since it takes time. Now I'm restarting it, doing LXC restart. Yeah, I have my container restarted. Now I go ahead and freeze the container. What do you mean by freeze? So LXC pause, giving the container name. So let's say you have a CPU hungry process, but you want and you don't want it to start when after like when your container starts or when you launch your container. So what you can do, you can make it to a pause state, and later when you have things available, you can unfreeze it. So this is for that purpose. So in this case, when a container is in frozen state, it uses memory but not CPU. Now let's talk on profile. Profile is a way to give a generic configuration to a container. It contains all the configurations like device mapping, limits, like mounting, so many other information. So suppose you have a generic template, it's kind of a template configuration you are trying to apply to your container. So it's like a template. You have your image and your profile, and you have your container up and running. So you can also have a user data in it. So when you just attach this profile, it actually does whatever you have mentioned in that profile. So you can have many profiles to a container. So now let's do LXC profile list. We have 4 profiles. Default profile comes by default, and it is attached to a single container we profiled. Now let's go to a file management. So let's say I want to move file across the containers or from one container to another container. In this case, I'm going to move files from my local to container and container to local. It both includes file and a folder. So let's go ahead and first file or find. We want to move it inside. So if you want to put a file inside a container from your local, you just do file push, give a file name you want to push. So in this case, it is user firefox.slice, and I want to put it in a container called sunnycod, and then put a path. So that's it. This is what it does. It will push your file inside the container. You just go ahead inside the container and check if you have the file already there. Yeah, so we have our file in the container. So to push is to put file to the container. And for example, I have a use case where I want to push the entire folder. So to push the entire folder, it exactly works like your CP minus R option. So you just do you just do LXC file minus R and give the folder path. So LXC file minus R. Okay, before pushing it, we just wanted to know what we are going to push it. So we are going to push this NFS server whole folder inside a container. So we just do LXC push minus R and then folder name and container name. In this case, it is sunnycod and / the path. So we want to put it in /dmp. That's it. It is done. So now we go LXC list and we check it. Sorry, we go inside the container exec. Now go to tmp and we can see our folder is available over here. So one use case of a pulling file from container is that whenever I use it personally, whenever I write a role for some specific tool or in this case Nginx. So first I do install Nginx install, which will pull me all the configuration files, and I pull this configuration file from container to outside so that I can use it in templates of my Ansible. So pulling is like you're copying it out. So pulling is like you're like you have something in your container and you want it out of the container. So let's make a directory so that it becomes for easy for us. So I just do make the nginx conf, and all I do is lxc file pull, and where am I going to pull from? That is container. I'm going to pull a whole folder, so -r, give the container name, and slash where your nginx configuration is. I want to pull everything from /etc/nginx and put it to dot. So it is as simple as that, guys. Okay, so we already did, we put something from outside to container, we brought something from inside of the container to outside world. What if we want to edit something which is inside the container and without going inside the container? So that is also possible. You just do lxc file edit and give the container name and give the file path. So in this case I want to just give an example that I want to edit in nginx.conf. so when you do that, it will, in my case it is opening a gedit. So as you can see, this is the file. It is a live editing. So whatever you do it over here, it gets reflected to your container without it needing it to actually restart your container. So in this case I want to just put a comment that it is in Ansible managed, just to show that when I do edit over here, it actually directly changes everything inside a container. So now let's go inside the container, lxc exec, and let's check if we have our changes reflected. Yes, we do. Okay, so this is about editing a file from outside. Let's say what do we do when we have to delete something from outside without going inside the container? Yes, that also we can do it. So lxc file delete and then give the file path. It's that simple. So in this case it is the container name and the file path. We have since we already pushed a file called user Firefox slice, and we're going to delete it from there, and we go and check it is in root directory. When we bash it is already deleted. So that's all for file management, guys. So now we're going to talk on cgroups. Cgroups is like limiting your resources, doing priority and all. So before doing anything, I just wanted to do lxc config so to see the configuration of my container. So when I see there is no limits specified for anything, either CPU or memory or network or IO. So now I want to limit a CPU. I want to say that my container uses one CPU. So I can do that by lxc config set limits.cpu1. So what I'm doing is I'm just restricting this container to a single CPU. This is how I do it. So in this case, for example, I want to say that my container uses two CPUs, the first one and two. Then we can do it by doing a relative stuff. And for example, you don't know about this kind of stuff and you want to say that I want my container to use only 10% of my CPU. You can do limit.cpu.allowance and give 10% or whatever percentage you want, and this gets reflected. It's a live update being done to your container, and you don't need your container to be restarted. So that's the best thing about Linux containers. So for example, now we are on memory. So before we go to memory, we just go and see the proc of my container /proc/cpu info. It is the place where you actually have information about your CPU. So let's do grep and just check processor over here. So we don't get anything. Let's directly go inside the container file. So block CPU info. When you do cat, and as you can see, we have 0 and 1. So we have two CPU cores allocated to this particular container, as we did 1 to 2, right? So you can directly update it by putting it to 1 or 2, or maybe putting it to a percentage basis. Now we are going to limit our memory. So we do it just by doing a config set limits.memory. So that's it you need, and you can give it in KB, MB, GB, TB, PB. So we are going to limit it to 512 MB. Yeah, so there are two types of limit: memory limit and CPU limit. One is hard limit and another is soft limit. So for example, if you want to say that I want to enforce this limit to be hard, so what happens, whenever your container reaches this threshold, it actually gets killed by the kernel on the host machine. So it is actually doesn't cause a noisy neighbor problem over here doing a hard limit enforcement. Yeah, so that you do by just limits.memory.enforce. There are two types, either hard or soft. By default it is a soft limit. Yeah, so this is how you do it. So similarly you can do it for your network bandwidth. You can also do it for your there is a storage. You can actually limit your size of your file. You can dynamically change what is the storage size of your root directory or any other partition you have added. So suppose for example you want to limit your size of your hard disk. In this case, when you go inside the container and check, you didn't specify any root size of your root volume of your container. So this is how you do it: LXC config device set, and then container name, and then you give the root size. So it says the device does not exist. Let me check. So let's give it in something in GB, and we do config set. Okay. Oh, so this needs to be done when we have a ZFS. And remember guys, we had everything installed on our directory. So now we want to talk on something on snapshots. Snapshots are point in time recovery. So just to set up a story on snapshots, I have spawned a container. So this is the container, it's running. So it has not got an IP. Now what we do, we are going to create a first snapshot where we have nothing installed. So let's call it a base. So LXC snapshot and the name of the container and snapshot name. So you have your snapshot created so fast. When you do, you can see the snapshots being number 1, and you can do LXC info the container name to get the snapshots associated with this container. So for example, now I have taken a snapshot. I will go inside the container and I install Python, and let's say I am preparing a base image for Ansible to be used. So this is how I install Python. So after my Python install, I do a Python check if it is there, and I go outside and I take another snapshot, LXC snapshot, and a container name and a snapshot name. In this case, I am going to give the snapshot name as a Python, just to make sure that it is having a declarative name, informative name. Now again, what I do, I need to do the third step. So third step is that I want to put my keys in the image, public keys in the image, so that I can use it whenever I want to provision dynamically, so that it doesn't have a authentication problem. So for that, what I do, I copy my public key from my local cat.ssh idrac.pub. This is the public key, and I copy it and go inside my container and paste it to authorized keys of this root user. So I can do it for any other user, but I'm doing it for this user in this Gmo. So now we have, let's verify. Yes, we have our files created. Now we're going to create a third snapshot which has your Python and your pub keys. So this is the final snapshot. Let's make it as a Python keys. Yeah. So guys, what is the use of making these many snapshots? So I can use this -restore option to go in some point in time. So in this case, that needs ZFS. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a separate containers from your snapshots to go back whichever point I want to. So for first thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a base image out of your base snapshot. So for example, there can be many use cases for this. Then when I just go ahead and see and how to create a snapshot from container from image snapshot, you just do LXC copy and then your image name, snapshot name, and your container name. It's that easy. Now in this case, I should not have Python in this. This is a base image. Yes, we can see that, and I also should not have anything in authorized keys. So this is the first base snapshot. And similarly, when I do it for Python, so LXC copy and the container name, and in this case my snapshot name is, I get it from info, and that is this one, and I am going to create a container called Python. So this is as easy as that. So for example, you have a cron which takes the snapshots, and then you want to go in this particular snapshots and you want to do undo and some things. So instead of going making an image from the basic, you can do a snapshot stuff. So we are just going inside the container and checking if we have a Python installed in this. Yeah, it has, and just check if we have authorized keys. So this is the snapshot where we didn't have keys added, and we take the snapshot at that point of time. That's why it is not having the keys added in this folder. Now we want to have the final container ready from the final snapshot. So you do it by LXC copy, and this is the full path you give for your snapshot, and you give a base image. You give a base image, you create a base image out of it, so that this is your final base image which you will be using it, base image container. So you just go inside and do it, do exit to your container, and check if you have both things there. So finally your final base image should have your Python installed and your pub key added inside the container. Yeah, so we have this base image added. Yeah, this is how you do it. So currently we have so many containers in this. Now what I do, I want to clean this up, so you can just do it by writing a single liner bash so for I and get the container name out of it, and then just run a loop out of the containers and just run a command which actually deletes the container. It's good to clean up so that you're having resources free, and can you use your resources for other container stuff. That's it. So do LXC list and check if everything is clean. Now we want to talk on something on image management. How do you actually create image out of container? So you just go out and create a container. You can do LXC launch. In this I have used an alias. Now go inside a container, install whatever you want it. So this is the other way how you create your image out of your container. So you have a container launched, and then you go inside and you install all prerequisites and put whatever you want inside the container. So I'm doing the same thing which we did in snapshot stuff. We are going to make a base image. It's just a demo. So now we are going to take a snapshot. Sorry, not snapshot. I'm going to publish it. So before publishing it, it's good to stop your container. So but what publishing does, it writes it and makes an image. So when you do LXC publish and -, give an alias. So in this case, I want to make it as a base image. So you can see we have a base image created, LXC image list, and grep I give image name, and it should be listed over there in my image list in my local. As you can see, it is already there. Now what if I want to share it to my friend in a tar over over SCP. I'm going to do SCP and something and do it in a tar. So you can do it by using LXC export. So when you do LXC export and then LXC image export, so you just do LXC image export and then give the image name. So whatever it was listed in your image list. So you can use -verbose option to see what is happening behind the scene, and give the path where you want to export it as a tar. So I'm doing it in this directory, image directory, and I have my image export ready. When I do ls, I can see a tar file. It has having some name which is equivalent to your image ID. So I want to change this to a particular name, base image -tar.gz. Okay, so what if I have already shared it to my friend and he wants to use it? So he just have to have a Linux containers with him, and then now since we have a base image, I want to just delete that from image list, and because I'm going to create another export import this stuff into image, and we see, let's see Galaxy image list, and it's like if you have base image, it's not there, we delete, since we deleted. So all you have to do is, what a friend has to do is Galaxy image import and then the tar file. So as you can see, we have our stuff in our image, but it doesn't have an alias. We want an alias. So how do we give an alias? So there are two ways, as we saw while exporting it. Your image alias is not put in your tar file. So what we can do is, we can try doing in this way. So Alexa image alias, and let's see if we can give an alias so to already existing image. So there is a problem, as I said, Alexa image alias, it should not be Alexa image alias. So let's do it in another way. What we are going to do is, we are going to import it, and while importing it, we are going to give an alias name. So Alexa image import and the tar and hyphen alias image base image. So okay, we can see we have a fingerprint already existing. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to delete that image which is already there with that fingerprint, and now I import. So this should help, this should get me things run. Yeah, it is. So Alexa image list, grab base image, we have our image imported. Now what if I want to launch a container out of it? So just Alexa launch base image and give a name, my first container, and you're good to go. So you have your container ready. So for example, you have something packed into your container and you're giving to your colleague, and all you have to do is you have to just import and then launch. It's as simple as that. For example, I want to check what base image my container is running. So you just go ahead and just do Alexa list -f help and take this example. So when you just run it, it will also provide you the base image on which this container is running. You can see my first container is running this base image, and I can do image list, grab this stuff, and I can see it is pointing to the base image which I had created. So now I want to delete both the containers, and I just wanted to clean it up. So that's it, that's all for image management, guys. It's a cleanup. Okay, what if we want to try LXD in LXD? So how do you do that? As you can see, we have no containers as of now. We are going to launch in Ubuntu 16.04 and pass a config saying, so let's launch Ubuntu 16.04 -c security.nesting is true. So what does nesting true gives? It gives you a virtualized file over your file system which is already existing. So you have your container ready, just go inside the container, Ubuntu 16.04, and all you need to do is LXD init. So you're inside a container, you're doing LXD init, you're just going with the defaults, everything with the defaults. And yeah, yes, give a bridge name, IPv4 for subnet, yes. Okay, IPv6, sorry. So this is your subnet configuration. You want your NAT your traffic to get it, so you don't want your IPv6 subnet, and that's it. All you need. That's what all you need. Now you have your LXD inside your LXD. So container inside container. So Alexa list, as you can see, nothing is there. Now let's start a first container inside a container. So you have a container, and in that container there is another container, and you're going to spawn another container in that container. Sorry, it's like, so you're just having LXD inside LXD, and you're just going to experience everything what LXD gives to you. So we're going to create a alpine image, and this is how we do it. Okay, so if we want to see how it looks from outside, this is how it looks from outside. That's it, guys, for this video. Thank you. Keep watching.